everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a little bracelet today using the Flower Festival seed bead set that came in the last Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead box. There were these little cream colored 11-O's with some matching flowers and some little purple ones with matching flowers, and then some rose gold colored seed beads with some little pink flowers. I'm going to do square stitch today. I've never done square stitch on camera before. It's very easy. It's a really beginner friendly stitch. It's the base of a lot of really beautiful designs. It's going to be the base of what I'm doing today. I've got my 8-pound fire line, and I've got crystal this time. I don't use a lot of it, but since these beads are so pale and light colored, I decided to use that. And I've got a little rose gold toggle clasp and some jump rings and 2 8-O's that I'm going to use at the clasp area. These are actually Toho 8-O's in rose gold. I'm always talking about how you don't really want to mix Toho and Miyuki, and these, I don't know what these are. I don't know whether they're Miyuki or what. They came with the Jesse James box, but it doesn't really matter because I'm only going to use these 2 little 8-O's at the top, at the clasp area. I've got 2 size 11 tulip beading needles. I've already got my needle threaded with a stop bead, and I'm only leaving about a 6-inch tail because I'm going to be coming back down. I'm going to make the base of the bracelet, and then I'm going to come back down and put the little flowers on top of it, so I'm not going to need to leave a long piece to put my clasp on because I'm going to be coming back down there, down to the other end, back and forth. So, and I've just got my scissors to cut my fire line, and I have my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers to put my clasp on when I'm done at the end, and then I use my chain nose pliers to flatten the thread so I can get it through the needle. The bent chain nose pliers, these are the ones I got from BB Craft many years ago. I think that's all for materials. Hold on and I'll get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to get started here, and I'm going to zoom in a whole lot because these beads are really tiny and they're really pale, and I'm afraid you're going to have a hard time seeing what I'm doing. You can do this with 8-O's. I do it with 8-O's a lot, but I just wanted to use these because these are what came in the box, and I want this to be a little dainty kind of bracelet. So I'm going to pick up, I'm going to do like a strapped pattern, but I'm going to have my rose gold down each side. So I'm going to pick up a rose gold, and then I'm going to pick up a cream, and then a lavender. And I'm going to keep picking up creams and lavenders until I have 7. So I'll end up with 4 cream colored ones and 3 lavender ones. And then a rose gold. So I've got 9 beads on my needle here. I've got 2 rose gold, 1 on each end, and then I've got 4 cream and 3 lavender. And I'm going to bring the beads down to my stop bead. I'm going to put my stop bead up at the top here. Now we're not doing peyote, we're doing square stitch. I'm going to pick up a rose gold, and I'm going to go down, I'm coming out the bottom of this rose gold on the bottom. I'm going to go in the top of it. I'll pull my thread through. And that sits that little rose gold bead that I just picked up next to the first rose gold bead. Now I'm going to go back up the rose gold bead I just added. And now I'm going to square stitch a cream bead next to the cream bead that I've got on there. So I'm going to pick up a cream bead. Coming out of the top of this rose gold, I'm going to go into the top of this cream bead. Pull my thread through. And just put that little cream bead there next to the cream bead that was already on my thread. So The reason it's called square stitch is you're just making a square. I'm going to go back up this cream bead that I just put on. So you're always making a square. You're going through one bead, coming back around, and just making a square. So my next bead in my row here is purple. So I'm going to pick up a purple. And I'm going to go down the top of this purple. Pull my thread through. And I'm just square stitching that onto that purple bead that's already there. Now I'm going to go across here. That's where my thread is going there, across the line there so that you don't see any. And I'm going to go back up through this lavender bead that I just put on, and I accidentally went through a white bead up here. I don't want to do that. Cream bead. Okay, now my next bead in line here is a cream colored one. So I'm going to pick up a cream colored one. I'm going to go down the top of this cream colored one. Just the cream colored one. Pull my thread through. And that square stitches that cream colored one next to the cream colored one that was already on there. Sometimes you have to encourage your beads to sit down like they're supposed to. Now my thread is coming up, it's coming out the bottom of this cream colored one. I'm going to go into the bottom of this cream colored one to get in position to do my next one. Now my next bead in line is a lavender bead. Right there. So I'm going to pick up a lavender bead. They don't seem like they want to jump off my needle today. Now I'm coming out the top of this cream colored bead. I'm going to go into the top of this lavender bead because I want to square stitch this new lavender bead against this lavender bead that's already on here. And sometimes you have to make them sit down there like they're supposed to. Okay, now my thread's coming out the bottom of this lavender bead. I'm going to go in the bottom of this lavender bead. Pull my thread through. Now my next bead in line is a cream colored bead. So I'm going to pick up a cream colored bead. I'm going to go into the top of this cream colored bead. And just pull my thread through. And set that new cream colored bead next to the cream colored bead that was already there. Now I'm going to go across, go up the cream colored bead I just put on. Okay, now my next bead in line is a lavender bead. I'll pick up a lavender bead. I'm going to go in the top of the lavender bead that's already on here. Pull my thread through. Don't get wrapped around my stop bead. And I believe I am trying to get wrapped around it. Okay, pull that down. Make sure it sits like it's supposed to against the first lavender bead. Now I'm going to come across and go up that lavender bead I just put on. As with all these stitches, this will get easier to see the more I get done here, the more I have to hold on to. Okay, now my next bead in line is a cream colored bead. So I'm going to pick up a cream colored bead. I'm going to go on the top of this cream colored bead. Pull my thread through. And set that cream colored bead next to that one that's already on there. Now all I've got left is a rose gold. So I'm going to pick up a rose gold bead. I'm going to go down the top of this rose. No, I hadn't been up through my cream color bead yet. I got to go up my cream color bead that I just put on first. Now I'm going to pick up a rose gold bead. I'm going to go in the top of this rose gold bead, pull my thread through, and that sets that new rose gold bead next to the rose gold bead that was already on there. Now I'm going to go back up the rose gold bead I just put on. Now, this is not really very secure right now. So in order to make it more secure, I'm going to go down this entire row of beads, this entire first row that I put on. You can just flip your work around, no problem. Just make sure when you do this that you're going through all the beads, and because it's real easy for your needle to sneak out one of the beads like that. And then you go through that, you know, maybe it pokes out one of the beads halfway through, and then it gets back in the beads, and then you've got a piece of thread showing on the back there. So just make sure you get through all just your beads. Pull my thread through. And now I'm going to go back up this new row of beads that I just put on. Go up all the beads, make sure you're just going through the beads, or that you're getting through all the beads and your needle's not sneaking out of there on you. And pull that through. Now I'm going to flip it because I just like to sew up. So now I'm going to pick up, wait, let me go back and look at this and see if it looks like you could see anything I was doing. Hold on. Okay, I think that was probably as well as you're going to be able to see it. And I forgot when I got my materials out to get out my 15-0s. I've got my Duracoat galvanized champagne 15-0s I'm going to use when I put the little flowers on. I'm not going to use it till then. I didn't have any rose gold, but you're not really going to be able to see these little beads very much. I'm just going to use them to attach the flowers when I come back down. So now I'm going to put on another row here. So my first bead is a rose gold. So I'm going to pick up a rose gold bead. I'm coming out the bottom of this rose gold bead. I'm going to go into the top of it. Pull my thread through. And that sets that rose gold bead next to the one that was already on there. Now I'm going to go back up the one I just put on. My next bead in line is a cream colored bead. So I'm going to pick up a cream colored bead, go on the top of this cream colored bead, and just the one bead. Pull my thread through. And that sets it next to the cream bead that was already on there. I'm going to go back up the new cream bead. Now my next bead in line is a lavender bead. Of course, you can do this all in one color bead. You can do stripes the other way. You don't have to do an odd number. I picked up a total of 9 when I started here. You can pick up how many you want to. It doesn't have to be an odd number. It doesn't have to be an even number, whatever you want to do. I wanted to do an odd number because I'm going to taper down to put my clasp on. And if you have an odd number, your taper it makes it more centered. But you can do whatever you want. An odd number, even number, doesn't have to be 9, whatever you want to do. My next bead in line here is a lavender, so I'm going to pick up a lavender, and I'm going to go into the top of this lavender, pull my thread through, and then I'm going to bring my thread across, go up the bottom of the new lavender I just put on. Now my next bead in line is a cream colored bead, so I'm going to pick up a cream colored bead, go on the top of this cream colored bead, pull my thread through, go across and go up the cream colored bead I just put on. Now my next bead in line is a purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple, I'm going to go on the top of this purple bead, just the purple bead, pull my thread through, and now I'm going to go across and go up the purple bead I just put on. And my next bead in line is a cream color, so I'm going to pick up a cream color. I'm going to go down the top of this cream color bead, pull my thread through, then go across and go back up the cream color bead I just put on. And my next bead in line is a lavender bead. I'm going to pick up a lavender bead. I'm going to go in the top of this lavender bead, pull my thread through, go across and go up the lavender bead I just put on. We're just square stitching the new beads onto the beads that are already on there. So now my next bead in line is a cream color bead. I'm going to pick up a cream color bead. I'm going to go on the top of this cream color bead that I want it to sit next to. Pull my thread through, and then go across and go up the cream colored bead that I just put on. Now all I've got left is a rose gold, so I'm going to pick up a rose gold, go on the top of this rose gold, pull my thread through, go across, go up the rose gold that I just put on, and now I'm going to go back to this second row and go through all the beads. Make sure you get through all the beads and your needle didn't sneak out on you. I can feel mine trying to sneak out on me. Yeah, see there? It's trying to sneak out there, so you got to be careful of that. Just make sure you get through all the beads. And then I'm going to go back up the new row that I just put on. And again, just make sure you get through all the beads. Pull my thread through. Now I'm going to turn this over again because I like to sew up away from me. I'll do one more row and then I'll leave y'all alone and do the rest of it off camera. So I'm coming out of this rose gold bead. I'm going to square stitch a rose gold bead right next to the one that's there. So I'm going to pick up a rose gold. I'm going to go on the top of this rose gold and square stitch that bead next to that bead. I'm going to go back up the new rose gold that I just put on. My next bead in line is a cream, so I'm going to pick up a cream, go on the top of this cream bead, just going in that one bead every time. Pull my thread through, go across and go up the bead I just put on. Now my next bead in line is purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple. I'm going to go on the top of this purple bead, bring my thread through, go across, go up the new purple bead that I just put on. Now my next bead in line is cream, so I'm going to pick up a cream. Go on the top of this cream colored bead, pull my thread through, go across, go up the new cream colored bead that I just put on. Now my next bead in line is purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple. I'm going to go down the top of this purple bead that I'm wanting this one to sit next to. Pull it through, set it next to the one that was already on there. Come over here and bring my thread back up the one that I just put on. Next bead in line is a cream colored bead. I'm going to pick up a cream colored bead. I'm going to go on the top of the cream colored bead that I'm wanting this one to sit next to. Pull my thread through, go across, go up the new bead that I just put on. The next bead in line is purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple. I'm going to go on the top of the purple that I want this one to sit next to. Pull my thread through, go across, go up the bead that I just put on. Next bead in line is a cream color, so I'm going to pick up a cream color, Go down the top of the cream color that I'm wanting this one to sit next to. Bring my thread through, go across, go up the cream colored bead that I just put on. All I got left is a rose gold, so I'm going to pick up a rose gold, go on the top of the rose gold that I want this one to sit next to, pull my thread through, go across, go up the rose gold that I just put on. Now I'm going to go back to this row, this previous row, and I'm going to go through all the beads. Make sure I get through all the beads, like that. And then I'm going to turn around here and go back up the new row that I just sewed on here. Make sure to get through all the beads, like that. And that's all there is to this part. Now this is not going to work up quickly, especially if you're using 11/0s like I am. If you're using 8/0s, of course, it'll work up quicker, but this is just not a stitch that's going to work up quickly. As far as how much thread to start out with, I would just start out with a comfortable length of thread, because you're going to have to add thread because this uses a lot of thread. And when I get to the point I need to add thread, I'll come back and show you how I do it, but it's really easy to add thread. But I'm going to finish the rest of my length off camera. Well, I'll probably come back when I get ready to add thread. So I'll see you when I get there. I'll be back. Okay, now I need to add thread. I'm getting short on thread here. And I don't have a whole lot done, so this is a stitch that takes a lot of thread. I know that a lot of times I'll leave my old thread attached so that I can remember where I need to come out, but it doesn't really matter here. I'm coming out the end, and I just need to come out either end. It doesn't matter which. So I'm just going to sew this back in. I'm going to just do it like I do with the peyote. I'm not going to tie any half-hitch knots because these beads are so tightly woven together, it's not necessary. Plus, I don't really know where you'd hide a half-hitch knot in here because they're so tight together. So I'm coming out the top of this rose gold bead. I'm just going to go back down through this whole line of beads. Just make sure I get through all the beads and I don't let my thread sneak out of there. And then I'm just going to go hop over and go down the next line. My thread's trying to sneak out there now. Then I'm going to go back to this row that I just went through and go back up it. I'm just crossing my thread in there so that it gets crossed in there and it's not going to come out. Now I'm going to come back over here and go down the one I just went through. And you want to make sure when you're getting ready to run out of thread that you leave yourself enough thread to do this with. There have been many times when I have not left myself enough thread. So now I'm just going to go back up through this row. Just making sure I get through the beads and don't let my needle sneak out. Now I'm going to go back around here and go back down this row that I was just in. Just crossing your thread over itself a bunch of times until it's not going to come out. I think that's good, so I'm going to cut this off. Now I've already got a needle threaded with my new thread and a stop bead, so I'm just going to go in this row before the one I'm going to start working on. I'm going to put my thread all the way through it like that. I'm going to pull it through till my stop bead stops it. Like that. Now I'm just going to come down this row, and I've got my thread wrapped around tools and everything over here. Alright, now, okay. Now I've got my stop bead there. I'm going to come back down this row that I'm going to start working on. This last row that I'm going to keep adding beads to until I come out the top there. And now I'm just going to continue on with my stitch. I'm going to take my stop bead off of this tail here and sew it in, just like I sewed in that old thread just now. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go down here and take my stop bead off the beginning of my piece and sew it in too, just like I did that old thread. And then when I get the length that I want, I'll be back and I'll show you how I'm going to taper it down. Okay, I've got the length I want now before I start my taper. So I'm going to start to taper down here. I'm coming out of my last bead that I put on, this rose gold one. I want to be coming out of either the bottom of this cream bead or the bottom of this cream bead. And since this one's closer to me, I'm going to do this one. So I'm just going to flip it over. And I want to be coming out the bottom of the cream bead. So I'm just going to go up, go through this rose gold and this cream bead next to it. And then I'm going to go down through this cream bead. So I'm coming out the bottom of that cream bead. Now I want to stay in pattern, so I want to keep my rose gold on the outside. So I'm going to do a rose gold right here. I'm just going to do like I've been doing. I'm going to take this rose gold bead, I'm going to go on the top of this cream bead. And go through, square stitch it on there. And now I'm going to go back up through the new rose gold bead that I just put on. Now I'm going to stay in pattern, so the next bead I have is a purple bead, so I'm going to pick up a purple bead. I'm going to go in the top of this purple bead and just square stitch that one on, and come over and go up the new purple bead I just put on. Now my next bead in line is a cream, so I'm going to pick up my cream bead, go on the top of this cream bead, pull my thread through, come over and go up the new cream bead. Now my next bead in line is a purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple. I'm going to go into the top of this purple bead, square stitch it on there, and then go up through the bottom of the new purple bead I just added. Now my next bead in line is a cream, so I'm going to pick up a cream, go on the top of this cream, square stitch it on there, go over here and come up the new cream that I just added. Now my next bead in line is a purple, so I'm going to pick up my purple, go on the top of this purple, square stitch it on there, come over and go up the bottom of the new purple that I just added. Now my next bead in line is a cream, but this is where I want to do my taper, so I'm going to put a rose gold here like it is on this end. So I'm going to pick up a rose gold, go into the top of this cream bead, come over here and go up my new rose gold bead. Now I'm going to do just like I've been doing. I'm going to go over here and go in the top of this cream bead and go down all the beads, making sure my needle goes through all the beads. And I want to come out that cream bead I started this row in, the bottom of it. Sometimes it's hard to get through there because there's a lot of thread in there, but there it goes. And then now I'm going to go back up all through all the beads of the row I just added. Now I'm just going to do the same thing. I want to be coming out the bottom of one of these purple beads on the end, and since this purple bead is closest to me, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go down this cream bead and this purple bead, and then I'm going to go down the purple bead I'm wanting to come out the bottom of. Just the purple bead, not the rose gold bead. My needle seems to be wanting to go through the rose gold bead, but okay, just the purple bead. Now I'm going to flip it over just because I like to sew away from me. Now I'm going to stay in pattern, and I want rose gold on the outside, so I'm going to put a rose gold here. I'm going to go to the top of that green or purple bead, square stitch that one on, come over here and go up the new rose gold bead I just added. So now I want to stay in pattern. My next bead is a cream bead, so I'm going to pick up a cream bead, go into the top of this cream bead, square stitch it on, go over here and go up the new cream bead that I just added. Now my next bead is purple, so I'm going to pick up a purple. Just go into the top of this purple and square stitch this new purple on here. Go over here and go up the bottom of the new purple I just added. Now my next bead line is a cream, so I'm going to pick up a cream, go on the top of this cream, and then go over here and go up the new cream I just added. Now here's where I want to do my taper, so instead of putting a purple bead here, I'm going to put a rose gold bead here. I'm going to go into the top of this purple bead, and then I'm going to come over here and go up the new rose gold bead I just added. See, that's beginning to taper down there. Now I'm going to, I don't know, that might be all that I want to do. I might want to just add my clasp stuff now. If I do this one, the next one, because it brings it down too, so I started with 9, that's 7, that's 5. So the next one would be 3. I think I'll stop here and put my clasp on. So I'm going to go, I want to be coming out the others, between either the rose gold bead here and the cream, or the rose gold bead here and the cream. So, and I want to be coming out of the rose gold, like going in toward my project. So I think I'll just, I don't think I've reinforced that part yet, did I? Anyway, so I'm going to go through all these beads here that I just square stitched these new beads onto. If you can't get through all of them at once, you can just go through a few of them. You don't have to go through all of them at once. So I still like 2 more beads I need to be through here. Through one of them. Now I need to get through this last purple bead. There we go. Now I'm going to go up through all these new beads that I just added. Okay, now I want to be coming out either the bottom of this rose gold or the bottom of this rose gold. So I think I'll just go back through all these again. And then I'm going to come out the top of this, or I'm going to come through this rose gold bead here. Okay, so I'm going to get one of my 8-ohs and one of my jump rings. I would use a wire guardian here like I always do, but I don't have any wire guardians in rose gold, so I'm going to have to try to make it work with just with the jump ring. When you do this with the jump ring, you want to make sure you have a jump ring that's really closed well, because if you don't, your thread will slip through that slit. So I'm going to pick up 2 of my rose gold beads, 11-ohs, and my 8-oh rose gold bead. I'm going to go through my jump ring. pull my thread through, and now I'm gonna take my jump ring, get it on the other side of these beads. This would be much easier with a wire guardian. Okay, now I'm gonna go back down through my 8/0. And I know that's really loose, but it'll tighten up when I go back through this other. So I'm gonna pick up 2 more 11/0 rose gold beads, and I'm gonna go in this rose gold bead and pull my thread through. And that puts my jump ring on there like that. Now I need to reinforce this a couple times, so I'm gonna go back down through. Try to get back down through all these beads again. I'm going to go from the bottom this time. I think it'll be easier. Pull my thread through. I'm going to go back up into this rose gold bead. And then I'm going to go back up these 2 11/0s and the 8/0. Back through my jump ring. Back down my 8/0. And my 2 11/0s on this side. And then back into this 11/0. Now I'm going to try to get through these beads again so that I can do that one more time. Now I'm going to come back up through this rose gold bead on the end here. These 2 11/0s. And the 8/0. Back through my jump ring. Back down my 8/0. And down through these 2 11/0s on this side. And then I'm just going to go back into a few beads. Doesn't have to be this whole line again. Oh wait, no, I need to go through this 11/0 this way. Now I'm going to go hop down here and go through a few beads. Doesn't have to be all the beads this time. Okay, now I'm just gonna leave this needle attached, and I'm gonna take another needle and, oh no, I've got to wait till I get back down there to do that. Okay. I forgot I didn't leave a tail on this end. Okay, so now I'm gonna get ready to put on my flowers. Okay, now I'm going to try to put my flowers on the top of my bracelet here. And I'm just going to put them down through here, just at various spots, just where I think they look pretty. I'm going to get all the colors in here. So I'm going to put a yellow one there, and then maybe a purple one down here, just however you want to do it. You know, if you want to do them straight down the bracelet, whatever you want to do. So I'm coming out of the end of this rose gold bead. I'm afraid this is going to be hard for y'all to see because these beads are so tiny, and I'm going to have to get up and under these flowers to do this, but I'm going to make my way, just move my thread around and make it get over here to where I think I want to put my first flower. So I'm going to just go through this rose gold bead and a couple of beads. And again, this would be a lot easier if you were using bigger 8/0s, but I wanted to use these that came in the Jessie James box. There's too much thread in there, so I'm going to have to figure out another way to get down through here. I have to go in that one though to get through there. There we go. There goes some through that one. Try to get through. That next one there. I'm going to poke my thread through and get on this other side of my bracelet and see if it's easier to get through on this side. Okay, that's just not going to go through there, so I'm just going to go through. I'm going to go back up here and go through another rose gold. Actually, I think I'm going back through the one I just came through, but that'll be all right. Now I'm going to go back down through this one. There we go, and I got through a couple more that time. I'm going to see if I can get through this cream colored one here. See if what my flower looks like putting it there. So I'm going to go through the bottom of my flower. And I got my 15/0s out here. I'm going to pick up a 15/0. Drop it down to the bottom of my thread. Now I'm going to go back through just the flower, go around the 15/0 and back through just the flower. I'm going to be careful when I do this not to get hooked around any of my little flower petals that are sticking out there. And now I'm going to find the bead that I started this in. I'm going to go back in the other side of it. Just circling around that same bead. Pull my thread through. Watch and make sure I don't get hooked around those petals of the flower. Okay, now I'm going to go back up my flower. Back through my 15/0. Again, make sure I don't get hooked around the petal of that flower, which it just almost did there. Now I'm going to go back down my flower. Don't let it get hooked around the petal. Now I'm going to find that same bead and go back through it again. I'm going to poke through my bracelet and come out the back, and so I can see better. That puts my bead, my flower there. It's not exactly as offset as I wanted it to be, but it'll be alright. So now I'm going to come back here and circle back around through that bead if I can get through it, but I don't think I can. It's too full of thread, so I'm not going to try it. If you try to go through the beads when they're that full of thread, sometimes when you pull it through, it'll break your bead, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go through the next one there and pull it tight, and that pulls it tight up against the bracelet and gets it on there good. So now I'm going to try to put my next one probably down maybe down like that. I'm not going to worry about counting rows and making sure they're exactly the same distance apart. I'm just going to put them just where I think they look pretty along there. So I'm going to try to move my thread around until I get down there. I'm going to do it back here on the back where I can see better. And then I'll poke it back through to get it back through the front. Just make my way through some beads, just making sure not to cross over any beads. It's a little bit easier down here because the beads are not hardly as full of thread as they are up there. Take it back through this cream one here and see where that takes me. Poke my thread back up through my bracelet. I think that might be a little closer than I want to be. I think I'll go through another one or two here. That'll probably be okay. So now I'm going to go back up through, I'm going to go up through my flower. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, drop it down. Now I'm going to go around the 15-0 and back through the flower. Pull my thread through, make sure not to get caught on any. See, it wants to do that every time. It wants to get caught on those petals. So you got to watch that. Okay, now I'm going to find the bead I started in and go and just circle around it, go on the other side. Pull my thread down like that. That puts that little flower there. Now I'm going to go under here and see if I can find the thread the bead I'm connected to. go back through the other side of it. I'm going to go back up my flower. Back through my 15-0. Back through my flower, bottom of my flower, and I'm just going to go straight through the bracelet to the back so that I can be careful not to get hooked around a petal here. See, there it goes, trying to do that. Gotta be real careful when you pull those through. Okay, that's what I got now. So now I'm just gonna keep going down my bracelet doing that, getting all my flowers on. And then when I get to this end, I'm gonna taper down just like I did up here. Now you don't have to do that. You can just put your clasp on if you don't want to do this taper thing. I just wanted to do that. And then when I come back, we'll put the clasp on. Okay, there we go. I've got all my flowers sewed on here, and I've got both my ends tapered down with my jump rings on. Now I'm just going to put my clasp on here. Just going to open my jump ring. Put my toggle ring on. Then open this side. Put my toggle bar on. And there we go. See if it'll clasp together. Well, there we go, a little bracelet with a little square stitch bracelet with flowers. Hold on, let me get some of my beads cleaned up and I'll be back. Okay, there we go, a little bracelet made with the Jesse James Flower Festival seed bead set. Like I said, square stitch is a very beginner friendly stitch. It's not hard at all. If you've never done it before though, it probably would be better to try to start out doing it with 8/0s because it's a little bit more difficult doing it with these little 11/0s like I used today. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.